Coffee and Headlines is brought to you by the generous support of our viewers and the following community partners: Best Cord Cutting TV, Bravo's Restaurant Bar, El Rey Lounge de Versalles, Joint Boutique Hotel and Cowork, Monson Brewing Company, Puerto Vallarta Neurofeedback, Puerto Vallarta Owners Reps, Oculto, and Siam Cocina Thai. Thank you for your support, and thank you for supporting our community partners. Oh my God, I am so predictable sometimes. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Coffee and Headlines. Why am I laughing? Why am I giddy? Well, because there is such a thing as an iPad app that is an actual keyboard. There are several keyboards. You bring it up and you poke at it and it plays notes. But there is such a thing as a farting keyboard. And last night, I didn't sleep all that much because I couldn't stop laughing playing with it. And just because you are insisting, I may demonstrate it later on, but not yet. First, good morning, everyone. I hope you're having a silly Wednesday. I'm having a silly Wednesday. And life is good. I hope you're having a great day. Today is Wednesday, June 25th, and I have news. Important Vallarta related news and a couple of unrelated things that you may want to know about anyway. As usual, a capital letter Q will get your comment commented on, and a capital letter N will get you a nice little welcome. And as in new, for those of you that are watching live for the first time, and what else am I missing? And as always, a big shout out to our silent majority friends or friends that watch us later on. It is a pleasure to be here. Let's get started with the news. Well, rain keeps bringing all kinds of unexpected gifts. The latest one was these giant boulders. Thank goodness it happened on an early yesterday morning. A landslide occurred on the Libramiento, in which large rocks fell from the hill and fell onto one of the road's lanes, partially blocking traffic. Now, I would never have wanted this to happen to anyone. Thankfully, it happened like at 5:30 in the morning. Nobody was hurt, and the boulders have been removed from the scene. So all is normal. But it's not only about boulders. If 3 captured crocodiles over the weekend was not enough for you, another one was spotted on Monday morning on a sidewalk next to the Marina Vallarta golf course. So, as usual, the specimen was relocated to a safe area. But you should know that not all the crocodiles are relocated. Do keep in mind that if you are in the habit of walking down the Pitillal Riverside Walkway or anywhere near the Pitillal River, just be mindful that there are crocodiles there and they are not going to be relocated. So make sure that you leash your dog and stay away from the bushes. You don't want any unpleasant surprises. A new chapter begins at Gustavo Díaz Ordaz International Airport with the appointment of a brand new administrator. His name is Omar Gildardo Torres. He brings more than 25 years of industry experience, including 19 with the airport group that manages our airport, where he has led operations at several major airports across Mexico. His academic background is in business administration and a postgraduate study in aeronautical and airport management, which makes him ideal to guide our airport in its new face. We are all excited about the about the expansion, which will be inaugurated next year. And it is well known that Nayarit Governor Miguel Navarro Quintero just does not like anything in Nayarit with the name Vallarta in it. As such, he has mandated all Nayarit businesses to remove the V word from their original name. Of course, Luis Antonio Villaseñor, who is seen smiling in this photograph, he's the general director of the Puerto Vallarta Tourism Trust. He was asked in an interview about the governor of Nayarit's order to remove the name Vallarta from businesses, nautical resorts, and even from destination promotion within the municipality of Bahia de Banderas. In this regard, he stated that in terms of promotion, the metropolitan area cannot be dismantled, and he clarified that the anchor brand remains Puerto Vallarta. And I quote, "We respect the decisions made by the government. In the case of the trust, we are concerned with technical actions to promote tourism and attract businesses. We do not get involved in political issues or territorial administration. What matters to us from a marketing perspective is continuing to position Puerto Vallarta and its metropolitan area in the best possible way." These were the words of Luis Antonio Villaseñor, who oversees our tourism bureau. And this one made me laugh this morning. One of the most important missions of Mexico's National Statistics Geography and Information Institute is to conduct surveys on a regular basis. This is how we find out, for example, that Puerto Vallarta is among the top 5 cities in the country with the lowest insecurity index. But the surveys also reveal other factors, like the population least favorite things about the city. In the case of Puerto Vallarta, apparently the 2 things that folks, local citizens, disapprove of the most of are the potholes and poor public transportation service. So, just out of curiosity, no shade, no judgment, feel free to name the things that you dislike about Puerto Vallarta the most. Dislike. And we will take a look at them later on in the comments. I will volunteer my top 2 just to start the trend. My least favorite ones are number 1, unmeasured growth of our city, and number 2, increased segregation. Those are my 2 least favorite things about Puerto Vallarta. What are yours? Feel free to drop in your comments and we'll take a look at them in a little while. But first, a quick look at our weather forecast. It rained again last night and it was beautiful. Oh, Snarky Weatherman says, "I hope you hate rain because I brought some just for you." Well, I don't hate rain, so I'm happy to see the rain. Today we can expect, today, right now, it's 28 degrees, humidity is at 75%, and we can expect scattered thunderstorms throughout the day with a chance of rain of 37%, a high of 31, and a low of 23. And tomorrow, Thursday, we can expect clear skies in the morning with thunderstorms in the afternoon, a chance of rain of 54%, and a high of 32, and a low of 23. And Friday, partly cloudy skies in the morning with thunderstorms in the afternoon, a chance of rain of 31, a chance of rain of 79%, a high temperature of 31, and a low temperature of 23. And that is the weather. I have a couple of interesting things that caught my attention. For starters, Mexico City is sinking. Well, this is not new. We've known that Mexico City was sinking since the Aztec decided to found the city on top of a lake using floating chingaderas. Since then, we've known that Mexico City sinks at an average of between 10 and 30 centimeters per year. What we didn't know, according to researchers from the National Autonomous University of Mexico, is that within the next 10 years, there are parts of Mexico City from which people will have to be displaced because it will no longer be safe for people to live there. What is causing the increased sinking? Well, between the weight of the city and the irrational extraction of water from underground wells, this has led to compactation of clay and volcanic soil to reach its capacity limits. And there are certain parts of Mexico City, like if you're walking near the Fine Arts Palace in the historic downtown area, you can see you can see the building sinking or being sunk, as there are now steps that lead down to get into it. Pretty amazing stuff. Now, I don't know where you were 43 years ago. I don't remember where I was 43 years ago, but today marks the 43rd anniversary of the release of Blade Runner, the iconic science fiction film directed by Ridley Scott, which hit theaters today, June 25th of 1982. This is a classic. I don't know if you've seen it. I don't know if you haven't, but given the latest rainy days, it seems like the perfect film to watch while rain is falling. And speaking of watching, you may or may not know that in recent days, actually, it was on the 6th of this month, that Good Night and Good Luck, the Broadway play written by George Clooney, became the first play to be aired live from Broadway to the world. CNN did the broadcast. You may have seen it, but if you didn't, I'm always surprised at the things that end up on YouTube that YouTube does not remove for copyright violation. And somebody has uploaded the entire play, Good Night and Good Luck, as it was performed on the 6th of this month. I will share the link in the show notes in case you want to catch this. It was an amazingly beautiful performance and an important one to watch. And with that said, let us take a quick look at your comments. Let's see if anybody took the bait on the least favorite things about Puerto Vallarta. First, we see all these wonderful good mornings. And it is a pleasure to see you here. So many of you. Let's see. Ha! Love to hear more on cheese and the different ones made locally. A cheese night, I'm in, says Laura. Well, yes, we will continue with our cheese exploration in the coming days. I'll keep you posted on any actual in-person presentations. Let's see what else we have. When is your interview being aired? Asks Michael, and I suppose this has to do with Diana's interview. Hello, Diana. I will edit it today. How about we watch Diana's interview tomorrow morning? I'll have it ready for tomorrow. Purum pum pum. Someone's house alarm has been going off since 9:15 this morning, says Michael. Laura says I just saw a video of a crocodile on Playa Camarones. They're everywhere. As we've mentioned before, they relocate during the rainy months. So it is what it is. Oh no. When they moved the boulders, did they find a coyote under them and a roadrunner down the road saying beep beep? I say, Chris and we have watched the same cartoons. I appreciate that. Roadrunner, I love it. Larcito. Good morning to Paco and Cluster from Colonia Las Mojoneras, where I am waiting on the bus to get back to Centro. Why? What happened to the Larsmobile? I hope you're okay, Larcito. Let's see. Logan says, yes, my legendary daughters are forbidden from the Riviera Pitillal this time of year, but I still ride my bike down that way and have to keep an eye out for speed bumps or topes. Yes, make sure that they're actual speed bumps and not crocodiles you're bumping against, Logan. Let's see what else. Somebody doesn't like the trash in the middle of the street all over town. I appreciate that too. I don't get that habit. It is weird, but it's what they do. But yeah, that's not fun, especially this time of year because that's the first trash to be um, driven away by the rain. Least favorite for me, not being there, says Deb Danaher. I love that. Well, you know how to fix that. You know when to fix that. Hopefully, you'll be able to return sometime soon. Uh, Susan has a point. I like potholes because they slow the drivers down. That is a good point. But the other day, Larcito and I were on the Lars Mobile going on a street that has potholes, and they were all covered with rainwater. So you never know if you're going to get into a harmless one or if you're going to end up stuck in one when it rains. John says, I hate the cobblestone streets when I'm drunk leaving the bar. I always break my high heels. Well, I have tripped. I remember it was several years ago I injured my arm precisely for doing that, for being too tipsy for my own good and walking down cobblestones. And I remember falling. It was not pretty. I lived in Puerto Vallarta from 1990 to 91. Overdevelopment is the thing I dislike most about the city. That makes two of us. Mark says, my top two are obnoxious tourists and the price of golf. I know, not a great list, but we're not comparing. We all have our own issues, and those are very legit, if you ask me. Let's see. Albert says, least favorite, massive construction without addressing the lack of infrastructure improvements. We're on the same page, Albert. Purumpim. My least thing would be, seems drivers have the right of way constantly, so always check both ways when walking or crossing streets. I also dislike entitled tourists. Be kind always. I hear you, Laura. The driving culture is very different here than north of the border. I must say that when I first moved to Puerto Vallarta, this took me as a surprise. I was used to vehicles slowing down. Although along the same lines, I am also quite surprised when I cross some streets and vehicles stop for me. Maybe because I've gotten older and I look fragile. I don't know. But it is definitely a cultural difference. Boom, boom, boom. Logan adds, trash collection, waste management, and unbridled littering culture, also unpopular opinion, but the cobblestones in Emiliano Zapata have got to go. We've reached that point, haven't we? And I know there's discussion about whether the cobblestones or the concrete make the city warmer. I don't know. All I know is that we are a city now, and the expectation for many roads is that you want to drive them like actual roads, not like cobblestone roads. So I hear you. Jerome also sides with cobblestone streets, the hills, too many tourists in high season, trash on the streets. It seems like we're all thinking about the same things for the most part. Tammy says, my least is not enough mental health care. So many power outages. I love that, Tammy. Not enough mental health care. Remember a few days ago or a few weeks ago when we were doing surveys and we asked folks about wellness and we didn't get a lot of responses? I think wellness is important. So mental health care is important. So I'm with you on that one. I'm so glad to see that being brought up because staying healthy in the mind and the soul is challenging now. It is always challenging, but lately the world is in a funny place. Sherry says, I watched that play this morning and it was an eye-opener and great. There you go. Hopefully other people will be able to catch it. It is almost impossible to find whole bean, organic, decaffeinated coffee. If anybody has any leads for Ron on where to find whole bean decaffeinated coffee, Please feel free to share. Let's see. Ba-dum-bum-bum. Logan is happy about good night, good luck. Again, catch it while you can. We never know when YouTube is going to find these things and is going to go, no, we can have this here. Peter says, Paco, for me, it is the sidewalks and too many condos building in Emiliano Zapata. Yep, I hear ya. A recycling program would help with the litter bugs, and trash barrels would help. I totally agree. Also, the culture of littering would fines help. I would think that they would, but it seems like such an insurmountable challenge. I really don't know how to even begin to tackle it, but hopefully those in the know and city decision makers are aware of this and are doing something to change things. It is not impossible. Look at what happened in San Pancho, in Riviera Nayarit. You know, San Pancho has been garbage collection mindful for ever since I can remember. You know, they separate their trash, and it's a great community as far as that is concerned. So the work is never over. And speaking of, I think we're going to wrap our broadcast this morning. For this morning, right now, thank you very much for your comments. I think we all kind of dislike the same things, or many of the same things. But the important thing is how to deal with them in a way that is nurturing and that doesn't drive us crazy. So we all have our own solutions. For me, it's finding keyboards with fart sounds and other distractions. What can I tell you? It's the end of Coffee and Headlines. I hope to see you again tomorrow morning with more news, more questions, more conversation, and more stories. Have a great day.